Welcome back to the Diversity Project. I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and today we are speaking with people in our Long Island community that really go above and beyond to make our holidays an amazing, special time. So, of course, we just had Bill Ferro on. He is an attorney with Ferro, Cuba, Mangano, located in Hauppauge, and he was able to talk about the initiatives and projects that he's working on. And in studio with us right now, we have the amazing Super Bowl champ, Gary Brown, with our Gary Brown Foundation, doing amazing things for our community. So thank you so much, first of all. I know you have an amazing schedule, and the fact that you took time to come out and share it with us today is really humbling.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be a part of the show. I'm honored to be a part of the show. People do things not for recognition because of the good cause, and sometimes it feels good just to be recognized for what you do.
I love it. So you are, as I've explained, earlier, there are people we meet along the way that are just these philanthropic people that just continually give back. And you and I have traveled in the same road, down the same path with a lot of the same organizations. So I've been able to watch firsthand what you're doing for our community. But most importantly, what I would love for you to do is talk about what you have going on for this Thanksgiving season and what you do for the people in your community.
Thanksgiving, the Dream 68 organization has been doing at a shelter for probably about 7 years now. And to be honest with you, it started in a pizzeria. Me and a couple of buddies were sitting down talking about real estate, oddly. And then they were like, I got a buddy that runs a shelter. Maybe we should feed them for Thanksgiving as a good gesture. And we did. And that first year, it was a mess. I mean, cans and turkeys of all different sizes, and it was just really hard to get it organized. It took us about 2 or 3 months to make it for Thanksgiving. And then the following year, I'm like, all right, guys, it's that time. I had such a good time doing it that first time. I was ready to do it again. They were like, no, we're going on vacation this year. Come with us. And I'm like, what about the shelter? What about all the people? And we helped them, and you saw the appreciation on their face. Once you see that, it's hard to walk away from. Mm-hmm. And I elected to keep going by myself. And since then, now we walk into a shelter. It's usually about 500 people, roughly. And with the help of Marconi Manor, Anthony Mastroni, and those guys, and some charitable people, we put together these meals that feed 3 to 5 people. And we walk in there on Thanksgiving morning with probably close to 100 volunteers. And we go door to door and give them everything they need for a Thanksgiving meal. What's good about it is that a lot of those families would be eating out of a vending machine or a McDonald's or fast food or pizza. We give them a totally cooked meal, turkey, stuffing, vegetables, dessert, utensils, microwavable dishes, the whole 9 yards that they can use over and over again. And it feels good to do that, The kids don't understand why they're there. They don't understand what's going on, mm-hmm. but they're missing out. So just to try and bring a little normalcy to them, it feels good. It pulls on your heartstrings.
Now this year, I'm sure, is going to be specifically challenging because of COVID. What types of protocols and procedures have you started to put in place so that you could effectively, continue without interruption?
Well, at the organization, we like to bring in a lot of volunteers, a lot of kids. I think given that philanthropic bug at a young age, kind of, it resonates with them as they grow older and as they grow into success to always give back. But this year is going to be a little tough for us, so we will be using less volunteers. So we're going to break it down from hundreds of people, probably down to about 40 people. And we're going to go in shifts, so socially distanced, to package up the meals. And then once we do that, we're going to load them in the refrigerated vans, and then we're going to probably get about 10 guys to deliver it. And we're just going to, once we deliver it and drop it off in the lobby, they're going to be responsible for dispersing it inside. So it's no cross-contamination with us going door to door or the people coming to us. They've been really well with the shelter and COVID because they're really strict on not letting any outsiders in, and we wouldn't want to for them to change their policy just for us. So we're still going to do our work there. It's just we're not going to have be as hands-on, but the job is still getting done. That's what's important.
And then how about the fundraising efforts to make this happen? Has that been affected by COVID for you?
Yes, because a lot of the events that we do to raise small money, and it's usually about $50 a meal for each family, average, because we get a lot of stuff donated. But because we couldn't have events, because we can't have gatherings, it's hard to get the word out. It's hard for people to come and see. So I'm really relying on this year just on word of mouth and some of the connections I've made in the past, which is good. And, being in that philanthropy world, the best thing about it is that you're surrounded by other loving people that are with the same mindset as you, which actually what brought us together.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
And what happens is that you work with other movers and shakers, but we've all developed relationships in different spaces. So you may have felt that you've tapped yourself because it's the same people on that project every year, but then you communicating with myself or with somebody else, I may have a resource, and this is how, and again, I was saying this before, we are better as one united front than we are as a handful of smaller, independent, not-for-profits, because it's power of numbers, right? It's strength in numbers.
Yes.
So now, for this year, for Thanksgiving, are you looking more for monetary donations? Tell me what you need so that our listeners might be able to reach out either directly to you or to myself or to somebody else that's affiliated with us to try to see what they could do.
Well, in the past, when I first started this, I was like, I'll take anything. Mm-hmm. Anything to help. I don't care what it is. But then we ran into a problem that we were having an assortment of different items. Not enough corn, not enough potatoes, not enough to feed 500 people. So now, to make it much easier, I deal with the catering hall. So I take in money and give it to them to pay the bill. So we do one-stop shopping. So we could go get, a half a pallet of corn and a half a pallet of stuffing and 200 turkeys and things of that nature. So if anybody would like to sponsor a family, the average price is $50 a family. There are some larger families and there are some smaller families, but the average is about $50 a family. We have hundreds of families, and we take care of them. And then anything that's left over, we put into our Project Toy, which goes towards getting the kids toys for Christmas, which is another whole story. You ever try shopping for 300 kids?
Yes, because we do a project every year called Holiday Dream, and we do about 500 kids.
Yeah.
And it's, these are tremendous undertakings. And, I think what happens is people from the outside, they look in and they're like, oh yeah, that's not a big deal. But they don't realize how many hours of manpower, stress, anxiety, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to write a check than it is for you to, dig deep within yourself and give back.
Yeah.
There's more value. I tell people all the time, it's not the size of the check, it's the quality of what you're bringing to the table.
Definitely.
And sometimes the best people that are affiliated, even with my organization, are not the ones that could fund my projects, but they're the ones that are willing to stand by my side.
Yes.
And make it happen.
Well, I believe with doing that, we are building relationships, and the relationships that come about just by when I started this, it's amazing. It's amazing. I've had so many people that, this is my first, and this is my son's first time, and you've been there, you provided us with a memory that's going to last forever, and that's the most important thing. Now with these kids growing up with that bug and with that feeling, God willing, they're successful in life, and they'll always have that notion to give back to the less fortunate. And then there are people that are less fortunate and come out of that will always look at it as somebody was there to help me, so I need to be there to help somebody else. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the culture a little bit. I try and change the culture with everything I do. I bring a smile, I bring a kind-heartedness to everything that I do, and passion. And people that get along with it, cool, let's go. And who don't, by. I don't have time to look back in my rearview mirror. I don't even want rearview mirrors on my vehicle because I just go forward. I just keep moving forward at all times.
No, I love it. Well, thank you so much. Again, we are in studio today with Gary Brown talking about his holiday initiative for this Thanksgiving. Again, projects and shows like this can't take place without our sponsors. So thank you to LifeVac, Lisa Albanowski, Team of Coldwell Banker, Ace Costello Hardware, Jet Direct Mortgage, State Farm, the Christina Lentini Agency, and of course the Equity First Foundation. Stay tuned for our next guest.